Now, back to Matt Patrick and your morning news.
KTRH News Time is 7:47. A guy you hear every weeknight from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. on Coast to Coast, George Norrie, almost got abducted by aliens.
A number of people had shown up trying to either take us or get us.
George Norrie, almost abducted by aliens? James Conway, former FBI agent and president of Global Intel Strategies, joins me this morning. And we were going to have George on with you, James, but he had a prior engagement. Aren't these Mexican resorts, Cabo San Lucas, usually pretty safe?
Yeah, good morning, Matt. How are you?
Good.
You know, ironically, Cabo is probably the safest of all the resort areas, basically because of its geographical location on the end of the Baja de California Peninsula. It's usually fairly safe, so this is a little bit of an anomaly. But look, this kind of stuff, and in a case like George's, it sounds like it was an express kidnapping, or basically hitting somebody that looks like a foreigner and trying to take them on a joyride, sometimes in the trunk of a car at gunpoint, to empty out their bank account or empty the account they have with credit cards and so forth. So it looks like he may have been a victim of that type of a
Do you think, James, that they knew it was George Norrie? I mean, maybe somebody tipped them off that this was George Norrie, coast to coast.
No, if they knew it was George Norrie, it probably would have been a cartel-related kidnapping, and they would have held him for a ransom and contacted his family. It's a more sophisticated thing. You know, you've had such a degradation in the security infrastructure in Mexico as a result of the cartel wars. The police and the military are so focused on the drug war that you've got this, this huge growth in street predatory crime, involving kidnappings and robberies and so forth and so on. And a lot of this stuff is just gang-related.
Yeah. James, listen, hang on for me. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about those that might know people that are going to Mexico for spring break next week or have, maybe going there themselves and what they could do to keep themselves safe.
You're back with more Matt Patrick.
KTRH News Time 7:53. We heard George Norrie, host of Coast to Coast, which you can hear on KTRH weekdays from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., said that he was almost abducted and said,
I'm going to stay in the good old United States for a long, long time.
And James Conway, former FBI agent, president of Global Intel Strategies. What do we do, James, to keep ourselves safe if we're traveling to Mexico or know someone who is?
Well, I travel to Mexico, and I'll tell you what I tell my clients. First of all, you've really got to assume responsibility for your security. You can't bank on the police. So that's one thing you have to consider. Always have that in mind. First and foremost, when you're out and you're on vacation, don't carry anything that of any value on you. Carry only the amount of money that you need for the evening to eat or to buy souvenirs or things like that. Don't carry a lot of cash on you. Don't carry your credit cards on you. Don't carry your passport on you. If you want to exchange some money, carry a copy of your passport. There's a lot of things. Don't venture out alone.
James, I don't mean to interrupt you, but it just sounds to me that maybe Mexico is not the place we want to visit, at least not right now.
Well, when you look at the numbers, 1.5 million Americans vacationed in Mexico last year, and there were 120 crimes against Americans. So the numbers are low, but nonetheless, it's a place that's certainly a place that you have to be careful. And
absolutely.
You can't dial 911 and expect to get the kind of response you're going to get in the United States.
James, I thank you so much for your expertise.
Matt, it's good talking to you.
And to you too, sir.